Hello everyone and welcome, welcome, welcome. We so appreciate your being here, and especially during this holiday season when we're also very busy. Consumerism is at an all-time feverish pitch and we're being bombarded by all kinds of great deals, don't miss this types of things, which I just totally ignore. This is a time for us to stay home and enjoy where we live and think about things other than going shopping. So today we are right now between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and generally I would wait until after our Christmas turkey to do what we're going to do today, so I would have two carcasses, but we're not going to do a turkey for Christmas this year. We're doing other things, and so we have our Thanksgiving turkey that we are going to turn into roasted turkey bone broth. And this is so delicious. We love this. And so we're going to start just by this heavy-duty roasting pan. Give it a quick little spray here. It will just make the drippings easier to get out. And this bag contains all of the things that we did not use on the turkey. It's the bones, it's little scraps of meat, it's skin, it's some gelatinous material, everything that we could pick from the turkey after we took off all the meat is right here in this bag. So we're just going to dump everything right in here. So here we have the back, and here's the, this is the breast, this is part of the back. We have bone, skin, all kinds of things in here. Little scraps of stuff, even little tiny scraps of stuff. And so what we are going to do is, in order to give our broth a robust foundation, we are going to roast these bones for about 45 minutes until they're browned and they just sizzle. And what that does is that it gives a base for wonderful flavor for our broth. So our oven is just about ready. It's preheating to 450 degrees, and this will go in for about 45 minutes until things get very brown and sizzly, and at that point in time we'll be back for what happens next. And while we are gone, I'm going to be preparing these vegetables, which we were also going to roast after we remove the bones from this pan. So we will see you in about 45 minutes. So here it is. Look at that beautiful stuff. Listen to the sizzle. Might be a little hard to hear it with the oven going too. So these are nicely browned. They are beautiful. I'll tell you, our kitchen smells just like Thanksgiving all over again. So we're going to get all of these bones and stuff into this pot. Now, one of the reasons that we roast these bones is that when we roast a turkey, these bones are all covered with skin, with flesh, with the meat. And so they don't get cooked to this degree. They get kind of steamed. And so doing this with the bones really helps to bring out the flavor. Now, people have very different recipes for bone broth, roasted bone broth, and they're probably all really good. Ooh, look at that stuff in there. I have a couple of secret ingredients, well, one in particular that I'm going to share with you that we think makes our bone broth just extra delicious. This is so hot. So there everything is.
Okay.
And we're just going to let it sit here for about another half hour while we do the vegetables. Now here I have, you might have noticed I had 3 onions ready. I only put 2 of them in because it's enough. And so I think I had 3 carrots, 3 stalks of celery. Here's a couple of cloves of garlic, and then our 2 onions. And we're going to put these in the oven now and roast these vegetables. We recently did a video on roasting vegetables for soup, And we talked in that video about the advantage of roasting vegetables and how it brings out better flavors in vegetables when you are using them for something like soup. And of course, broth is the foundation for soup, so it applies equally to when we do roasted bone broth. So these are going in the 450 oven, but these won't take 45 minutes, probably 25 to 30 minutes. So we'll be back when these are done. I forgot just one thing. I stuff the turkey cavity no longer with stuffing because it's not recommended, but with vegetables, the same vegetables that we are roasting. These are the veggies that were roasted inside the turkey when we roasted it for dinner, and I saved them when I pulled them out. I'm going to just toss these in with the other vegetables. We're going to roast them too. Well, the vegetables just came out. Here they are. And so I'm going to loosen these and get them into the pot. Okay, let's see how well we did here. And I'm just going to pour them in. So here is our mixture so far. So what do we do with this pan? Look at all that yummy stuff down there. Well, we are going to deglaze it. So I'm just going to put some boiling water in the bottom of this pan. It's so hot, I don't want to warp it, so I'm not going to put cold water in. So there's a little start on what we will turn into our broth. And I'm going to just deglaze this for a little bit. Now, this will take a few minutes, but I want to show you what I'm also going to add in. And I'm just going to put it right here. Makes it easier for you to see. So I have some home canned tomato sauce. I'm going to put in about half of a jar. That is not for a tomato taste. It is just to add a little bit of background flavor to give it a little bit more robustness. And the same with this little tad of soy sauce, just a splash, hardly any at all. How about 2 splashes? And then probably the most important of my so-called secret ingredients is vinegar. Now I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoons of vinegar. And this is just apple cider vinegar. And the purpose of the vinegar is to soften the bones so that they will release more of their flavor. So I'm just going to stir this around and deglaze this pan as much as I can, and we will be back when we are ready to dump it in the pot. I deglazed it. I did not get everything. I don't want the super burned pieces, but we did pretty well. So this is what it looks like afterward. This is going in the sink. A couple of bay leaves. And now we're going to fill the pan up to, let's see, just over the top of the stuff. All right, so this is going to go on the stove, and we are going to bring it to a boil and then turn the heat down and simmer it. Now we're going to simmer it for 2-3 hours, somewhere in there, until the taste is to the taste that I like it. Now, some people simmer their bone broth for hours and hours and hours. One person that I watched a couple of years ago simmered hers for 3 days. I don't do that. It reaches a point where the flavor is delicious and I'm happy with it and I'm done simmering. Simmering on the stove takes fuel. And so I don't like to do it for hours on end, but rather just until it gets to the taste that I'm very happy with. So we will see you in probably 2 to 3 hours when we are ready to strain it and jar it up. Well, here we are. It has been almost 4 hours, and it took that long for the flavor to develop. So I started off tasting it after the first hour, tasted pretty watery, and as more time went on, the robust flavor began to come through with everything. So take a look, see what you think. Look at that.
Looks nice.
I think so too.
Tastes good too.
Yes, we've both been testing it all along. So part of that color, of course, is from a little bit of the tomato sauce that we put in. And but a lot of it is from the bones themselves. So we're going to get as much of this out as we can, and then we're going to strain the rest as we put it in the jars. I'm hoping that we have at least 4 quarts here. I'll be thrilled if we have 4 quarts. We might even have a little more.
Okay, let's see what it looks like.
Okay.
Can you hold it?
So I have the funnel in place, and I have a strainer that fits right into the funnel, and we're going to strain the rest of the stuff out as we put it in the jars. So here we go. Is that just a gorgeous color?
Wow, that looks nice.
It really does, doesn't it? This may be the best turkey bone broth that we've ever done, roasted bone broth. And we leave an inch of head space.
That's it right there.
And this is what it looks like, what we are straining out.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to fill the rest of these and we'll be back. Well, we have a little bit left, probably another quart.
Let me move forward. That's more than a quart.
Think?
Yeah.
Well, it's still got some stuff at the bottom too that I'll have to strain out. In any case, I'm going to do those in freezing. I'm going to freeze pints. So we may have 2 to 3 pints that we'll be putting in our freezer. And that actually makes a very good combination because sometimes I don't need a full quart and a pint is better. And so just being able to bring one out and use it immediately from the freezer is a great option. So I'm using a vinegar dampened paper towel to wipe off the rims here to get any oil or grease off. And putting on the lids. Now we always have quite an adventure when we use our Nesco for broth. Sometimes we get quite explosive siphoning when we open the lid after it has completely down to 0 pressure and we just loosen the lid without opening it. We can sometimes hear that explosive siphoning. It just happens with the Nesco. And I don't know if any of the rest of you with a Nesco have that, but we've had it a couple of times. It's really quite interesting. So if it happens, we'll be sure to see if we can get a video of it. So I'm using the green pressure regulator. That is for 15 PSI, which we need because we are at 5,000 feet. So I'm going to be putting these quarts in. I already have 2 quarts of water in the bottom. So these are going right in on the rack. I'm just going to put that right in there and drop the lid. Okay, I'm closing the lid now. It's in closed position and the pressure regulator is in the up position. And I'm going to plug it in.
Probably would help.
Put it on high. Put the time for, according to USDA, 25 minutes. "25 minutes on high, and we're going to start. Now what's going to happen, it's going to run around there for a few minutes, and then it will start venting. And then that a timer will come on here that counts down 10 minutes. And so when it gets to the end of the venting, then I will drop this so that it goes down and seals the steam inside. But with our Nesco, it really continues to vent a lot of the way through the cycle, and that's how it regulates to make sure it is holding right at, it's like a jiggler, and so it doesn't jiggle, but rather it just lets off steam when it gets above 15 psi, so that's perfectly normal if yours does that. So we will be back after this finishes. Then we just turn it off and leave it off, and sometimes it takes up to an hour and longer for the pressure to come down completely. Once the pressure is down completely, we'll bring you back and we will just swing the lid to the other side, which unlocks it. And if we're going to get any of that explosive siphoning, that is usually when it will occur. So we'll bring you back. Well, here we are at the end of the day, literally. It has been more than 8 hours since we started this project. And while it did not involve us all of those 8 hours, it just has been a long day, and we probably look a little bit tired, except you can't see Jim, but you can see me, and I always start looking haggard if I've put in a big day. So let's open up the canner and see what we've got. We will open it very carefully, and if it starts to explosively siphon out the liquid and it comes straight out instead of just dribbling down the jar, it shoots straight out to the end of the canner. It's something to see, so we'll try to video it if it's happening, and then we'll close it down and let it rest a little more. So I'm going to come around and we're going to quietly open the lid. Oh, I'm not hearing anything. Let's see.
Well, you lucked out.
I think we got it. Oh, that's nice. Now it's
So
been,
that extra 10 minutes.
yes, it took about, oh, there one just popped. Startled me a little bit. So no explosive siphoning. In fact, no siphoning period, it looks like. These are just gorgeous. Yeah, the water's as clear as it can be, which is probably the first time doing broth in the Nesco that we've had totally clear water. There went 2 of them. Okay. My gosh, did all 4 seal? No, there's one that isn't. Well, they are just beautiful, and they taste delicious. I'm thrilled to have these. We're running low on broth. I always like to have our home canned broth, and I can never seem to get ahead with it. But anyway, we're 4 ahead right now, and I think I have maybe 2 left out there, so we're doing okay. And I may have to do a huge batch of chicken broth here before too long. So I hope that this was informative for you in learning how to do roasted bone broth, and that you will try it if you haven't ever tried it before, because it is significantly more delicious than just popping everything in boiling water and letting it simmer just that way. So lots more flavor when we roast those bones. So thank you so much for being with us, and I'm going to go put my bones down on the couch and have a little rest. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you very soon for more videos.